Right? Shalawam, this is the brother Ra'aya,
Brother YAHAWAH
of GMS New Orleans, coming at you with another lesson. But before we get started, as always, we're going to give all praises, glory, and infinite honors to YAHAWAH, bahasham, YAHAWASHI, bahasham, RFID. Double honors to the apostles and elders of great Millstone who ruled and teach well. And peace and salutations to you sincere Akim out there, pushing this word in truth and sincerity to the four corners of the globe. May you brothers endure until the end. And to the few sincere Akwat out there diligently learning in silence, Shalawam.
Shalawam.
And with this lesson, we're just going to go into the fact that these prophecies, hey, they're speaking. They've been speaking. And hey, the men of the Lord have been speaking them, but we're actually seeing in the mainstream news that people might as well be quoting biblical prophecy and scriptures with the way things are going down. I mentioned in a few previous videos I've done dealing with this whole Middle Eastern situation that you've got average everyday people, in alternative news, like Canadian Prepper, for instance. He was referring to Russia as Gog, and he was saying, hey, he's using terms like the apocalypse, Armageddon, biblical times, and it's not just him but other people. And then the brother, I believe up in Michigan, his page is Banzaab, he did a video where some Jake Instagram influencer made a post saying, but real talk, we are living in biblical times. And he was just going into the comments on the video, and there's pretty much a 50-50 split on some that were, one person said we're the Israelites in those quotes, but other people were saying, oh, better prepare for Jesus. Some Jakes trying to put scriptures that kind of, went with some of the things we're saying. Then you had other Jakes that are just like, oh, they've been saying that since the 50s, or, all the bullshit we hear Jake saying. But regardless, these prophecies have been prophesied in the scriptures to take place, and we're in the time of them taking place to where it's going to be to the point to where there's going to be no more need in going out and prophesying the word, because what we're saying is going to be happening. And once that's the case, that's time for YAHAWAH, bahasham, YAHAWASHI to work and the action to take place.
That's a beautiful point, because the word prophesy means to say before. So you can't prophesy while it's happening. Right now we're at a time of heralding YAHAWASHI's second coming and warning our people of Jacob's trouble, World War III, all of these things in the scriptures. But as they're happening, we're not going to be on the highways and hedges, man. We had one of the brothers on the other side was asking us, so we're going to be out here, all these things are going? No, we're not. We're going to be nowhere near you people when the judgment is actually coming down. But I have a real quick one for you.
Oh, God.
This is Habakkuk chapter 2, verse. I started 2. It says, and Yahweh answered me and said.
So you started verse 1.
Habakkuk 2:1. I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower, and will watch to see what he will say unto me.
And it backs up what you just said, what the prophesy means to say before. And we're the watchmen. We've been standing upon our watch, watching for danger and blowing that trumpet as it comes to give people a warning of what's to come before the attack, so to speak, takes place. And that's these prophecies saying, it's about to go into it in verse 2.
It says, and what I shall answer when I am reproved. And Yahweh answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it.
And that's what we're doing. We're writing the vision and making it plain upon tables. Hey, we're watching the news and reading the scriptures, and we're filtering the news through the scriptures to do what? Go out onto the highways and byways to preach this word, as well as do video epistles like this, that he may run that readeth it. The elect hear the message, and what? They get right with their power and know what times they're living in.
It says, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry.
And though the vision is for an appointed time, it will speak and not tarry. And we're in the times where it's no longer tarrying. I remember it was when I'd first come into doing the work. This was around that time that it was when Donald Trump was president, and he did that missile strike on Syria. I was excited. I didn't quite understand that the MOTB had to be mandatorily implemented before the battle in the Valley of Jehoshaphat in World War III really kicked off. So I was doing videos and excited about it. And I remember some Edomite commented on the video and was like, oh, silly Negro. And even though the prophecies were in the process of taking place, they were for an appointed time. And though they were tarrying, what? Fast forward, a couple of years later, hey, they're no longer tarrying. It's getting to the point to where, with that Syrian strike, yeah, it was serious, but it ain't like it is now, where you're talking about Iran directly getting involved against Israel, Russia talking about getting involved, Russia talking about using nukes.
Yeah.
Saudi Arabia is taking the side of the Palestinians and the Arabs or the Ishmaelites, against the US and Israel. Hey, this is things that have never been seen before, taking place as we speak. And now the action is quickly coming upon us. So it would behoove you, you Jakes, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, to take heed to the word right now. Because with all these prophecies taking place of, World War III and the destruction, what other prophecy is involved? The famine of the word, to where you're no longer going to be able to get this word. And whatever knowledge, wisdom, and understanding you were able to get while the word was freely available is what's going to get you during Jacob's trouble and be your stability. But if you haven't been taking heed to the word, and you just been bullshitting and being in that spirit of, oh, they've been saying that since my grandparents, you're going to get caught out there and you're going to get the full force of judgment. And rightfully so.
Got that real quick to back you.
Okay.
It's Isaiah 33, verse 6. And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, and strength of salvation. The fear of Yahweh is his treasure.
Point blank period. Wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times.
So if you don't have the wisdom and knowledge, what does that mean? You're not going to be stable. You just imagine just total blackness and darkness in the streets. The electric grids have been completely taken off. There's no food in the shelves. There's no trucks coming in and out of the cities bringing food. Everybody's panicking. People are getting put to death left and right. And you have no knowledge of the scriptures. You don't know why these things are happening. You don't know what's coming next. You just see people dying everywhere. You see people screaming for FEMA. You see the so-called white man on the news who is the cause of all this, present himself as offering a solution. You're going to lose it, man. If you don't have if you don't have the understanding of this, not just the physical Bible, but the wisdom and knowledge that's contained in the scriptures, which is only being taught by holy men, in that day, it's a wrap for you. You're going to lose your mind. How am I going to feed my baby? What am I going to do? Jake, they show you in all these so-called post-apocalyptic movies, you have people that die in horrific fashions, and then you have people that also die from just simple things like they might get a cut and they can't get access to penicillin, or they can't, just get an aspirin. They can't go to the store and get something that's readily available right now, and they just die a painful death. That's going to happen to a lot of people. You got it right.
Hey, I can't imagine, you try to at least, maybe it's just me. Whenever you see people that are scared out here about these times, I try to speculate, what would your mindset be? Say you don't believe in a God or a higher power, but you just see the world going to shit. You think that this life is it. Like, you live, you die, and then it's blackness afterwards. You'd be fucking terrified out there.
Yeah.
And you would be willing to do anything to, getting that sense of comfort.
Yeah.
And that's how that devil wants it, bringing that order out of chaos. And when you don't have that knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, hence, as the brother was going into, you won't have that stability. So you'll be taking any little thing to get back into a semblance of normalcy. But hey, that's going to lead to your destruction anyway. It's a catch-22. You get that charagma, you get that nuclear fire.
Yeah, that's another beautiful point you just made, because this ministry is actually preparing us to face sudden death. Now, the scriptures tell you that, there are a lot of brothers that aren't going to see death, and certain brothers are going to be martyrs. But either way, we're prepared to face death. These people love their life in this world. We already feel dead. All right, we're dead in Hamashiach YAHAWASHI, and we're dead to this world, and we're alive through our hope and YAHAWASHI's second coming. So for us to already be ready to die, we're not going to be put in situations in which we're going to be desperate to do anything to prolong our lives here, because we're already ready for our lives here to end. We're ready for our life in the kingdom.
I got a precept to back you up. And just to, back up what the brother was saying. We go through these calamities, losing things you care about, things not going your way, to prepare you for Jacob's trouble, to make you hate your life, to make you be in that spirit of, look, I want it to go down. I know it's going to be bad, but shit, anything is better than being a slave, having to wake up at 4 a.m. to go work some, bullshit job you don't make money on, deal with people that look at you as a second-class citizen, all that. But this is Revelation 12, verse 11. And they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony, and they love not their lives unto the death.
God. And that's really what this ministry prepares you for, to not love your life unto death. You know, brothers lose their family members. That's a blessing in disguise. That's one less thing you have to worry about during Jacob's trouble. Brothers have women problems. That's a blessing in disguise. That's one less. You're not going to have to go back and get your stuff. All right. So, you know, brothers, you know, lose a job. We're not going to have jobs in Jacob's trouble anyway. Like all of these things that the Most High takes from us when we start to serve Him, those are things that you would have lost anyway. So your mind is already prepared for the kingdom. These people who are, that's why YAHAWASHI said, what? Woe unto them that laugh now, you shall cry later. Those that mourn now are going to laugh later. These people that are living high off the hog, there's somebody in the society, they have all these trinkets and things to lose. When all hell breaks loose, they're going to be completely bugged out because they actually care about this world. If you care about the world and the world is being destroyed, that's going to completely mess up your mental state. But if you look forward to America being destroyed, these things that are coming, that are clearly written in prophecies, when they happen, you're going to celebrate. We're going to actually enjoy watching, you know, various T attacks and buildings exploding. People look like it sounds crazy, you know, if you don't understand the prophecies. Like how could they celebrate mass death? We celebrate mass death because that's one of the final prophecies before America's finally destroyed, man. And we're going to be free
In rulership, have the spiritual powers.
Yep.
And you know, be the ones calling the shots.
Yeah, living in a world of righteousness. That's another thing we look forward to. We lust for righteousness, like the brother Quab just went into. Lust, it's just a strong desire. We lust for a kingdom where righteous judgment goes forth. That doesn't happen here. So even aside from Jake dealing with poverty issues, or whatever type of financial issues, women issues, family issues, whatever's going on, the real thing here is there's no righteousness here. Righteous judgment does not go forth in America. And it's when America's destroyed, there's going to be a righteous earth that replaces this place. And that hope is worth anything that we're about to go through. And
really, a lot of your issues you deal with and a lot of your heartache, where does it stem from? Living in an unrighteous world.
Yeah.
You're living in poverty. Why is that? Because Esau screws over everybody, especially Jake. Usury. You know, Esau will tell you one thing before you get the job and then pull the rug from under you, and you're getting it's never a straight shot with this guy. Woman issues, you're dealing with the woman, you know, she more often than not, she's not a virgin when you deal with her, and she's got that feminist mindset, so that brings heartache. You know, the food breaks down your body and messes with your mental health. This all stems from living in an unrighteous, wicked world. So when we live in a righteous world governed by the law, statutes, and commandments, all these issues will be, you know, a thing of the past.
Right. If wickedness is the root of all these problems, then what's the solution? The solution is righteousness. But you can't tell people in the world that. You got these red pill niggas, they'll complain about women all day, but they don't believe in the law, statutes, and commandments. You got these economic people talking about Bitcoin and crypto and all of these things, or the Federal Reserve, this and that, but they don't believe in the law, statutes, and commandments either. You got people that are complaining about the food. Oh, you got to go vegan. Oh, there's pesticides being sprayed in the vegetables, so you got to go organic. You got all of these people that are complaining about they don't keep the dietary law. None of these people that are complaining about the problems of society will tell you that the solutions are to keep the commandments of the Most High and to have His children ruling the earth in righteousness. The Israelites being put back in power is the only thing that's going to fix everything. But nobody wants to talk about that except for us. We're the only people talking about the house of David, the kingdom of heaven. Peace, true world peace, which is going to come from the 12 tribes of Israel returning to Jerusalem. You never hear Jewish people talk about, hey, now that we're back in the land, we should keep the commandments, we should teach the Torah to the nations, to the Goyim. You never hear them say that, man. It's only us talking about that.
They're too busy running Hollywood, running the porn industry, you know,
running in pride parades,
the banking industry, using that usury and screwing you over and bringing in this charagma.
Yeah.
They're too busy, you know, set on wickedness. But you know, actually, if you could, we'll get 2 Peter chapter 3, read verses 13, because that, you know, this 2 Peter's chapter 3 encompasses a lot of things. That the Most High is not slack concerning the prophecies, and you got the scoffers out here saying that we've heard that from the past, and not to care about the things of this world, because we always go into it. Abaratazah, you know, this brother and myself, you know, the other sincere Akim and Akwat out there of that number, we aren't even bringing these bodies, this skin and flesh, on the chariots when we go on to them. So how much less this stuff you're concerned with, the car, the house, the FRN notes, all that shit's going to be destroyed. And you got to be in the mindset that, you know, your loved ones that you're dealing with now, hey, there's a good chance they're going to be destroyed. So if that's the case, you should be concerned about doing what's right doing what's right for YAHAWAH, bahasham, YAHAWASHI, which gives you a chance at being saved and also gives, you know, your loved ones a chance at being saved.
Yeah, because a lot of our loved ones, most of them are going to die, but a lot of them are going to be saved. There's a whole lot of Israelites outside the 144,000. All right, John the Revelator he said he saw a great multitude. So the 1/3 being saved is not just the prophets. All right, it's also certain friends of the prophets, family members, people that are under our headship. There's going to be a mass deliverance, and that's another thing that keeps us going. When you see mass death, which right now it really hasn't even gotten that bad yet. All right, over here, on the other side of the world, they're already going through their hell. But right here, man, Jake, you know, lose a job or lose a one, but you don't have martial law troops putting bayonets in your face. It's not that serious yet. But when it gets that serious, you're gonna have your mind on something better. You're gonna have that hope in your mind. Otherwise, you're gonna lose it. When a man loses hope, he'll do anything.
There's nothing left.
Yeah.
Hope is tied to your integrity.
Yeah.
You keep your integrity because you have hope that what you believe in is going to be accomplished. But once you lose hope in that, and you don't have hope if you don't have this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, you're ready to sell yourself out like a prostitute.
Yeah.
To the John with the most money.
Yeah. And those Maccabees brothers, they had hope that they would come back and receive a reward for their integrity. We feel the same way. We're in the same spirit. That's why every brother loves that chapter, man. 2 Maccabees 7. That's just like yeah, if I hold fast to what's been given to me, there's a reward for this. Esau doesn't have that. Esau now knows that he's Esau, so he's gonna come down with that sword like a maniac. And Jake has no clue what's coming, man.
He got nothing else to do. I like to think about that too. If I were an Edomite, and somehow I was convicted in my spirit that I'm an Edomite, I'm going into slavery, I'm going to get destroyed, that would make you have a hate for Jake even that much more. Yeah. It's like, if this is my last hoorah, I'm about to show my red ass and be the biggest, wickedest devil out here.
Yeah, look at the way Esau treated Jake when he thought he was a Christian. These so-called white people that believed in Christianity, they were hanging Jakes, castrating Jake, just doing splitting Jake with horses, tying them different ligaments of their body to horses, and they were torturing Jake on a level that is unheard of. There's no other nation that's gone through what our people have gone through. And he was doing all of this when he believed in so-called heaven and white Jesus and being a good Christian. He was a complete devil while he believed somewhat in the Bible. So once that hope is removed, once you know you're an Edomite, you know this is your last hoorah, this is the last time you're ever going to be free, this is the last time you're ever going to get to kill Jake, man, he's going to lose it, man. He's going to show you that he is the devil that the Bible speaks of. And that's another final prophecy, Revelation 12:12, him coming down with great wrath because he knows he has a short time. And that's when that happens. Again, we're not going to be on the streets warning you, Jakes. Are you Eves walking with your zaddy? Oh, you shouldn't do it, man. In that day, you're going to get ate, man. You're going to be lunch. But this is 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 9. It says,
oh, you start verse 2.
Oh, 2?
Kind of. And we'll read down to 13. If you got any precepts or points you want to bring in.
This is 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 2. That ye may be mindful of the words which were spoken before by the holy prophets, and of the commandment of us, the apostles of the Lord and Savior.
Hey, that you may be mindful of the words which were spoken before by the holy prophets. As it says in 2 Esdras chapter 9, hey, these things that have been spoken before thee from the beginning. We had the prophets in the past prophesying these things. They prophesied events that took place during their times, before their times. Like, look at Jeremiah with the Babylonians. He was prophesying to the southern kingdom that Nebuchadnezzar was going to come in and take them down. And what? Jake back then didn't believe it. Hey, we have that example. And he was prophesying about, and him and other prophets are prophesying, about the things today. The battle in the Valley of Jehoshaphat, World War III, though they were thousands of years away from it. But now, and hey, the prophets are back through the reincarnation. They're living in the times of those prophecies, speaking of the things that were spoken before by the holy prophets, by themselves. And, some Jakes are getting it like they did back then, and some Jakes are not getting it and refuse to get it, as it's about to go into, making every excuse under the sun to really do what? They don't want to get right. They want to continue to commit adultery. They want to continue to eat pork, revel in black culture. Shit. At the job the other day, you know, a little tangent. One of the people was talking about, one of the Jakes walked in. It's like, oh, it smells like gumbo in here. And one of the persons like, oh yeah, that's one of the things we're making. And even this eve, one of the people said, but you know, some people don't eat pork like that. This Jake, his eyes lit up. He's like, well, you know how we get down in Louisiana, pork chops, jambalaya, you know, pork sandwich, all that shit. And I was hearing the conversation in my head, and I was just thinking, nigga, I want you to die. Yeah. And I'm gonna enjoy the thought of you dying.
Yeah, that a morbidly obese fat that I used to work with like maybe 5 years ago. We had this conversation that he I didn't tell him, I didn't go into the truth obviously, but we were just talking, and he's morbidly obese. I'm like, yo, what if your doctor told you that if you keep eating pork you're gonna die? He looked at me, he said, Uptown, that's what they call me. He's like, Uptown, I'm gonna die eating pork. I'm like, you got a child, but you love eating pork so much that even if a doctor told you, hey, if you keep eating pork, you're gonna die, he's still gonna eat pork. That goes back to that Isaiah where it says,
I got it.
Oh, come on.
Hey, he prophesied of his own death.
Yeah.
This is Isaiah 66 verse 17.
That's it.
They that sanctify themselves and purify themselves in the gardens behind one tree, in the midst, eating swine's flesh, and the abomination and the mouse shall be consumed together, saith Yahawah.
Yeah, Jake doesn't know what to do with that precept, like, because they always ask, oh, the Lord's gonna kill me for eating pork? Yes, you just read it. The Lord's gonna come back and kill you for eating pork. It's that serious. Our forefathers, they would rather die than be seen eating fake pork. All right, look, just eat this. You don't have to eat actual pork. Just eat this fake pork to make it look. Nah, I'd rather die. That's the level of integrity that Eleazar had. He'd rather get put to death than even make it look like he's eating pork. And fast forward to today, Jake said, "I'll die for eating pork." You got it.
And what was his integrity? His hope, just like the 7 brothers of the Maccabees, that look, even though we suffer now, hey, we're gonna come back. We're Israelites. We have hope in, you know, the promises of our forefathers that we are the children of Israel, and we're gonna come back into the kingdom in righteousness. And they prophesied against Antiochus, saying, "But you wicked man, you have no hope of the resurrection because you know you're a goddamn Edomite, and you're just coming back into slavery." And Eleazar, he had his integrity because, you know, he had hope in what he believed in as well, and stood 10 toes down, knowing that, look, people look up to me. You know, I'm an elder. What kind of message would that send? What kind of, you know, feeble spirit would that put on, you know, the youth? If in my old age, with my reputation, even if it wasn't pork, I ate this, you know, just to live a couple of years longer. No, we ain't doing that. Yeah,
and that's another good point, because just to live a couple of years longer, like it tells you in Ezekiel, if you live a righteous life and you give up at the very end, all your righteousness will be forgotten. So, you know, he obviously had read Ezekiel. He was a righteous man. But the idea that you would sell your soul to Esau in agreement with a man who's never kept a promise in his life, he broke over 400 treaties with Gad and Reuben. Why would you make a deal with someone who could just kill you anyway? Here it is, you're selling your soul to prolong your life with a man who's just going to kill you as soon as you sell your soul anyway. It doesn't make any sense.
And was it saying that Isaiah 29, with them making that covenant with death, it's going to be disannulled, and they're going to be swept away in that flood, in that hail.
God. I wanted to get this real quick before we go back to Peter. This is St. Luke chapter 10, verse 23. It says, and he turned him unto his disciples and said privately, this is in red letters, blessed are the eyes which see the things that ye see, for I tell you that many prophets and kings have desired to see those things which ye see and have not seen them, and to hear those things which ye hear and have not heard them.
And that was YAHAWASHI speaking to his disciples, saying what? You're blessed to see, you know, the Son of Man, the Messiah, come on the scene. But we know, as it says in Romans 15, everything written aforetime was written for our learning. He was also speaking to his disciples today. Blessed are you to see the second coming of the Son of Man, you know, to see these prophecies that our forefathers knew would lead up to the kingdom of heaven being established. What's it saying? Acts 1 is now the time that the kingdom shall be established. You know, over 2,000 years ago, they were ready for it to come. how much more now when we are at the door of it? Like, as Apostle Tahara said, hey, we are getting to the point to where we're months away from the kingdom of heaven. 6 months, 12 months, 24 months. It ain't in decades anymore. It's in months.
And I'll be it's sooner than later. Because really, man, the longer we're here, the more we're defiled. And it's just, like we said earlier, the best part about all of this destruction is that righteousness is going to follow. You cannot have righteousness here. Jake can't wrap his brain around the idea that the so-called white man is coming out of power. So he has this idea that, look, if we just vote more, if we just pool together our money, if we circulate the black dollar, if we can fix black love, all of these fake solutions, it's like putting a Band-Aid on a cut that somebody's head was sawed open, his brain is spilling out, and then you put a Band-Aid on it, like, look, we can fix him, we could save him. Like, no, man, we would have healed Babylon, but she's not healed. You can't fix this.
It's like putting a Band-Aid on somebody that got hit with that gun and Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah, that's coming to America, man. Those machines, they're here. All right, Esau's got them. Then you got these foreign troops that learn Spanish. Oh, that's a Venezuelan. Nah, that's an Iranian, man. Just you wait. All right.
You got them gooks over here.
Yeah.
Them Hamites.
Yeah.
That all hate you, Jakes.
Yeah.
Hey, I'll never forget this. The elder Malcolm up in Chicago said one of the brothers in his camp. This was probably like back in the. It was probably around 8-10 years ago. He said one of those brothers got a random call, and this goes to show that the powers that be know who we are. These soldiers too. They got us, all our information out there, and they know who to come for. He said he got a call they sounded Chinese. It's like, oh, we are happy. We're going to be happy to come to America and kill niggas on the street. Like, he got a call like that.
Yeah, that's what's coming. And a lot of them are already here. World War III it's going to be, the scriptures tell you, it's going to be like any other time since there has been a nation. It's not going to be something that you so-called Americans could just turn on the TV and, oh, look what's happening on the other side of the world. Look at those children in Yemen being bombed. Oh, I'll get my credit card and send them $5 and feel like a good person. No, it's going to be right outside. It's going to be right in your front door. World War III is going to be up close and personal to you degenerates here in America.
And nobody's coming to save you Americans, you American Jakes, you American Edomites. Everybody hates y'all as it is. They got that one saying. It was I think he was a Catholic priest, Edomite, back during the Nazis and shit. And he said when they came for the small hats, I said nothing.
Yeah.
When they came for the gypsies, I said nothing. When they came for the Moes, I said nothing. And when they finally came for me, there was nobody to say anything for me.
That's what's happening, man. All you nations that have just turned a blind eye to the wickedness that's been going on in this society. You know the whole time this country existed, how it's treated so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, and you said nothing because you're heathen. All right, you're our enemies, going back to Psalms, the 83rd chapter. So now that you weren't having anything to say about us, guess what? It's your turn now. We're not going to help you. The Israelites are not going to come form Voltron and help Ham and Amalek. It's time for y'all to get your judgment.
Hey, we're laughing right now seeing you heathens butcher each other.
Yeah.
And how much more when it's finally here in America, when we get to see these people that are constantly fucking with us, scoffing, just treating the most precious thing on the earth as a joke, to see you finally, get your just desserts.
Yeah, because if you're not in this truth, you're a scoffer. Ultimately, if you're not helping the prophets in any way, shape, or form, in the back of your mind, you're like, man, look at them crazy niggas. I'm stupid. They believe in the Bible. The Bible is this. The Bible. Oh, I believe in science. They still believe in that. Like all of these people
with this on.
Yeah, with a mask, and with a diaper on their face,
and with some juice in you.
Yeah, you people deserve everything that's coming to you. But this is back in 2 Peter 3. It says, knowing this first, that there shall come in the last days scoffers, walking after their own lusts.
Keep going.
And saying, where is the promise of his coming? For since the fathers fell asleep, all things continue as they were from the beginning of the creation.
That, as we were going into earlier with the brother that did that video, the Jake said, but real talk, we're living in biblical times. And you had some Jakes, talking about Jesus and, get right and stuff. And then you had a lot of Jakes say, hey, we've been hearing this since our grandparents, or what? oh, there's always been earthquakes. There's always been wars.
Yeah.
There's always been in floods and signs in the heavens, all that shit. This is that prophecy for you. You think that this is going to be no different and things are going to go back to normal. But, you know, if you were actually paying attention, unprecedented things are happening in these times. Things that have, you know, never happened before. We're on the brink. We've got major nations on their mainstream media threatening to use nukes on each other. We're talking about going to a cashless digital society, talking about the charagma, you know, the what did K. Tissue Schwab say? We're coming into the time of the polycrisis. We're coming into the time of great anger out there.
Yeah. Just the level of technology that this devil has, the amount of destruction that he's able to reap is not, that's never been seen before on the earth. All right, the technology that he has to kill people is completely unlike anything the earth has ever seen. So this idea that, oh, there's always been wars. No, there's not always been a time where multiple nations can wipe each other off the face of the earth. All right, the fact that there was multiple wars in the 1800s, okay, you couldn't push a button and kill 10 million people in the 1800s. So these jakes that are just, oh, that's happened already. You people are just ready to die, man. And like the brother mentioned, the cashless society. There's never been, Esau never had the technology to put a small device in someone's hand and just completely do away with cash. That's a new invention on the earth. The credit card itself, you have to have a whole infrastructure to have the Visa, just Visa alone. If you get rid of MasterCard, Discover, all the other cards, just one credit card alone, if 10 million people are making hundreds of transactions a day, you have to have an infrastructure for that to take place. And with cashless societies, you have to have a grid set up, you have to have the blockchain, you have to have multiple servers that are using nanotechnology. These things didn't exist before. So yes, people have been talking about the MOTB for years, but the actual technology to make it mandatory for every man, small and great on the earth, that's not a new thing. That's something that only exists right now. We're in those times right now, the times we've been preaching about. But it says, for this they willingly are ignorant of that by the word of the Most High the heavens were of old, and the earth standing out of the water and in the water.
Reread it again, Bible Kasha.
It says, for this they willingly are ignorant of that by the word of the Most High the heavens were of old, and the earth standing out of the water and in the water.
Keep going.
Right, which goes into, you know, of course, the earth being made out of water, and then the outer heavens is another layer of water, man. The Shemayim.
Mm-hmm.
It says, whereby the world that then was, being overflowed with water, perished.
And what was that talking about? The first death by water, that great flood during the days of Noah. And what it say in verse 5? For this they willingly are ignorant of. Back then, Noah was prophesying for 100 years, building that ark. And oh, he's crazy. What are you doing? It's never rained before. Yeah. That's one thing they said. It's never rained before back then, because back then it was a mist, a dew that came up, you know, in the morning and watered the plants. So rain rain has never come. What are you talking about, water coming from the sky?
Yeah, Noah was crazy. He was seen as the same way they look at us is how they looked at Noah. Like, what is the guy talking about? Why is he building a big ass boat? Something's wrong with him.
No nation, they would destroy themselves if they use nukes. Yeah. There's no way that they would shoot nukes at each other like that. Are you crazy?
Yeah, there's no way the so-called white man would kill millions of people. It's not like he hasn't done it multiple times. Right? It's called World War III for a reason. He's already done it twice. But now his destructive capability has exploded exponentially. He can now push a button and just make a city disappear. And he's not going to do it? Because why? Because he's such a good person? Because he has such a track record of caring about the sanctity of human life? This is the so-called white man we're talking about. This is the man who pushes abortion. This is the man who pushes might is right. All right, if I'm stronger than you, if I can bully you, then whatever I write in the law, you have to follow it. That's correct.
If you can't do anything about it, then that means you're wrong.
Yeah.
And I was trying to find that quote. It was by one Edomite who was well known in funding Osama bin Laden during, you know, the Soviet-Afghan war, which was something he saw, you know, these American Edomites orchestrated.
Yep.
But he said the goal of rulers throughout history has been what? Instead of killing many people with a lot of weapons, not that, but to kill many people with a few weapons. Backing up what you were saying, Now they've got technology, which at the push of the button, they don't even really need to send out an army like that to kill a bunch of people. They can just hit you with missiles and drones and do double the work with half the effort.
Yeah. And you know America's all about that. These American troops are not ready for any type of hand-to-hand combat, one-on-one with Russian soldiers. Are you crazy? Half the military is women, sodomites, weirdos, just fats. Got kids that can't even do push-ups and pull-ups. America's not trying to go to war with Russia and China with antiquated weapons. They're going to take, I was going to tell you, it tells you in Isaiah 6, this war shall be fought with fuel of fire and burning.
And just to back you up, when you ask most people in the military why they join, it's not because I want to fight for the country and the Constitution. No, because I want to, get money to go to college.
Benefits.
While these people in China and Russia, they're patriotic and join the military to handle business, to forward their empire.
Yeah, these countries actually have a culture. American culture is nothing but degeneracy, porn, video games, smut, just weirdness, man. These other countries that America is enemies with, they actually have a culture that they love. Their sons actually want to protect their families and their values. America, there's no value to protect here. There's nothing. Even these so-called right-wing conservatives that care about America, let's make America great again. When was America great? What values did America have in its heyday? Killing niggas, man. Just being a degenerate. There's nothing to save here, all right? This place has to be destroyed. And if you haven't come to that conclusion yet, you're part of the destruction.
Okay.
But it says, verse 6, whereby the world that then was, being overflowed with water, perished, the flood, but the heavens and the earth, which are now by the same word are kept in store, reserved unto fire against the day of judgment and perdition of ungodly men.
But the world that is now, the heavens and the earth that are now reserved unto fire, to the perdition or the destruction of ungodly men. That second death, that nuclear destruction, that ultimate cleansing agent, which is going to be the final period on this age of wickedness we're living in. That fire is going to wipe it away, and then, after the dust settles, that's when YAHAWASHI and those 144,000 hunters are going to begin establishing righteousness through that rod of iron.
It says, but beloved, be not ignorant of this one thing, that one day is with Yahweh as 1,000 years, and 1,000 years as one day.
So literally 1,000-year period is as a day, the day you had today, and the days are getting shorter now.
Yeah.
So just imagine that whatever time you wake up to whatever time you go to bed, that's a day, that's 1,000, that's a day imagine 1,000 years in that one day. That's a day of the Lord. So we can easily see why it says, though they tarry, wait for it, but they shall surely come, they will not tarry. In the heavens, these things aren't tarrying, because the Most High lives outside of time. So it's just like that. It's just in these grasshopper lives we live, how we have a time schedule on things. You get old, your body breaks down, you go through decades of work and going through shit, heartache and stuff like that. It just seems like forever, but these things have been in motion and quickly coming into motion, and now we're at the the fulfillment of it.
Yeah, you know what else that means? It's only been 2 days since you executed the Lord's son. Okay, if someone murdered your son 2 days ago, would you be over it? It's been less than half a day since the transatlantic slave trade. You took the Lord's children, you packed them on boats, you whipped them, you beat them, you raped them, you did all these horrible things. That's less than half a day.
It's like a 9-to-5 job.
Yeah, that's noon. Like, oh man, at lunch they kidnapped my kid. Like, you Edomites have no idea what you've done and who you've done it to. You actually you crucified the son of Yahweh Bahasham Yahawashi, and then you tortured and destroyed his sons, man, the rest of his sons. So this is less than a day of man, y'all got it coming, man.
And hey, time's gonna go back to normal during that 1,000 years. Time, it says you're gonna receive double. Hey, the time might feel like it's going double slow, just so you can get every morsel, every bit of blood, sweat, and tears out of you Edomites.
Yeah, they're gonna be serving slavery for 1,000 years, but it's gonna feel like a lot longer than 1,000 years. You're gonna, like you said, we're gonna get every single ounce of blood out of you Edomites, man. But it says, Yahweh is not slack concerning his promise, as some men count slackness, but is long suffering to usward, not willing that any should perish, but that all should come to repentance.
And, a lot of the times, things go at this pace. So what? The elect can wake up.
Yeah.
Every member of the elect has their season to wake up. But as these things speed up, what should that tell you? That the elect, if they haven't already all been sealed, hey, they're damn near close to it.
God.
And the Lord is not slack concerning his promises, but hey, he's not slack concerning his promises, and he's not slack concerning his prophecies. Again, though it tarry, wait for it shall surely, Adam 22, this fucking degenerate ruling over us. It is not slack. Hey, these prophecies are quickly coming to their fulfillment. Yeah. Look at what's happened in 2023. All the groundwork has been set for just that one little powder keg to just fast track the MOTB, World War III, YAHAWASHI's second coming, and the kingdom of heaven starting.
Yeah, all the dominoes are in place. It just takes the first domino, and that's it. And it's beautiful that it happened like this. The Lord could have set it up any kind of way, but he had it so that I'm going to wake up the children of Israel. Ezekiel 37 is going to happen. The same time World War III is happening. The same time the MOTB has been put into place. The same time, all these prophecies are happening at the same time. So it's like, there's no way that you can mistake what's going on right now. These people in the comment board talking about, oh, y'all been saying that, there's never been a time on the earth where all these end time biblical prophecies were all happening at the exact same time. This can only be talking about right now. And it only makes sense because if this world were to continue, there would be no flesh to be saved. This has to be the end, just for that reason alone. The so-called white man can't be in power another 20 years. There wouldn't be any people left. All right, we'd have 800 genders. We'd have people marrying AI robots. There wouldn't be any natural procreation. All of the food would have patents. You wouldn't be allowed to grow anything. Like how's the world going to take another 20 years of the so-called white man's leadership? It's impossible. It says, but the day of Yahawah will come as a thief in the night, in the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burnt up.
Hey, but the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night. Hey, when they say peace and safety, then sudden destruction, like a thief. Hey, and you got Biden and these other people. We clearly see the economy's about to, take a bullet to the head. But they're like, oh, well, I even hear it on, NPR on the radio or on, the mainstream. Oh, well, it looks like, recession, the signs for recession and inflation have slowed down. And they've actually added a bunch of jobs to the economy. Oh, things are going to get better. But meanwhile, you got people working multiple jobs, people one paycheck away from being evicted, just theft and crime at a all-time high because people just can't afford this cost of living. World War III around the corner, all that.
Okay. It says,
and then it goes into what? The elements melting with fervent heat and the works in the earth being burned up. That final period point, those nuclear-tipped ICBMs being shot to the ends of the earth, which is Russia just put the Satan II, which is one of their big boy missiles, into active military service. And I'm trying to remember, they said the type of fuel it uses a liquid fuel. It's a liquid fuel based nuclear weapon instead of solid fuel. And they say that liquid fuel means that this weapon is specifically used as a first strike weapon. This isn't we get hit and then we retaliate. This weapon is specifically designed to know we're going to hit first. And this is on active military duty.
Yeah, that's what's coming. And Jake's still playing games. It says, seeing then that all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of persons ought you to be in all holy conversation and godliness?
Seeing all these prophecies that our forefathers, many great men and kings have been waiting for, are at the door. What manner of persons ought ye to be? It's about to say.
Looking for and hastening unto the coming of the day of Yahawah.
Looking for and hastening. You should be in the spirit of, hey, this should have happened yesterday. This should have happened an hour ago. I'm ready for, all hell to break loose in the next hour. Hey, hastening for the day and diligently waiting for it.
God. It says, wherein the heavens being on fire shall be dissolved, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat.
That nuclear destruction.
Nevertheless, we according to his promise look for a new heavens and a new earth wherein dwelleth righteousness.
Hey, that hope which we have through this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, which is going to be our stability during Jacob's trouble. That way we know that whatever our lot is, whether we make it all the way through or whether we're martyrs for this truth, as long as we know, stand to keep our integrity and have hope in Yahawah, bahasham, YAHAWASHI, we're going to be the first fruits, seeing that new heaven and that refreshed earth, the kingdom of heaven being established, righteousness being established. But let me think. Probably just get that Isaiah 55 and Isaiah 34 and have anything else.
There's Isaiah 55, starting at.
We'll just read 11.
Okay.
And hey, this is what brings us our hope and what allows us to keep stable this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding that everything that has been prophesied in these scriptures will take place. Hey, Israel waking up, these prophecies being fulfilled, YAHAWASHI making his second coming, and the kingdom of heaven, the new heavens and the new earth, and our eternal rest and eternal righteousness dwelling will take place, and nothing can happen to stop these prophecies from coming to their fulfillment.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 55, verse 11. So shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth. It shall not return unto me void, but it shall accomplish that which I please, and it shall prosper in the thing whereto I sent it.
Point blank period. So shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth, which the prophets are the mouthpiece of Yahawah, bahasham, YAHAWASHI. It shall accomplish that which I please, and it shall not return unto me void. So point blank period. Every single one of these prophecies will take place, and there's no more speculating anymore whether is it going to happen, is it not going to happen. We are literally seeing it take place in the mainstream news. It's happening so much now that they can't even hide it anymore.
Yeah.
They can't hide the chariots anymore. They have to admit that so-called UFOs exist, that we've been knowing about them for decades, and we're coming up with a space force to try to fight against it.
Good luck with that.
Exactly.
This is Isaiah 34
verse 16.
Unless
you wanted to.
Yeah, I just want to say real quick, because it's another good point about that Isaiah 55 is that the faith in the prophecies happening and the faith that the Lord's word is not going to go out void. That's another difference between the men of the Lord and all these other people that claim to believe in the Bible, so-called Christians, so-called Muslims. These people, when you go into all these religions, they believe that the prophecies are going to be void. All those prophecies about the Israelites ruling over the heathen, that's not going to happen anymore because of Jesus. Oh, we got to keep the commandments. No, that's not talking about that. These people don't actually believe in the infallibility of the word of the Lord. They think that the Lord said a bunch of things and made a bunch of promises, but now, that's in the past. We don't have to deal with that anymore. They're going to find out the hard way. But this is Isaiah 34 and 16. It says, "Seek ye out of the book of Yahawah and read. No one of these shall fail." And
what's the book of Yahawah? The so-called Bible, the Old Testament and the New Testament, as well as the Apocrypha, which is a part of the Old Testament. And read, no one of these shall fail. No one of what shall fail? These prophecies. Hey, the prophecies in the past didn't fail. What? The he-goat, the Grecians going against the ram, the Persians, that didn't fail.
Yeah, and that's heavy, because anytime a kingdom is in power, it seems like they're never going to come out of power. For you to say that the Greeks would take down the Persian Empire, now it's obvious. It happened. What 2,700, however many years ago. To say it now, obviously, the Greek Empire took down the Persians. But at the time of the Persian Empire, to say that the so-called white man is going to come into power, that people look at you like you're crazy.
What they say, hindsight is 20/20.
Yeah.
And they even told Alexander back then that you want to go against the Persian Empire? Are you a madman? Yeah. This is blasphemy. This is madness.
This is Sparta. But see, he believed in the prophecy. He believed that he was set up to destroy the Persian Empire, which he was. So if a heathen can have that much faith in the word of Yahawah, bahasham, YAHAWASHI, how much his sons?
And how did he believe? He had enough faith to believe in, the high priest at the time, Jaddua, brothers in our camp. We just went through the history lesson. Yeah. Alexander had the high priest at that time show him in the prophecy that, look, you're going to take down the Persians. And he had such high, a Edomite had such high faith in that he went and handled the will of Yahawah, bahasham, YAHAWASHI, because he was a tool of the Lord.
Yeah, but you got actual Israelites that are like, that book, that's a religious book, that's a fairy tale.
That's the white man's book.
The white man's book. bugged out, man. Hey, but the children of darkness are wiser than the children of light, man.
Hey, point blank, period.
But yeah, it says, not one of these shall fail. It says, none shall want her mate, for my mouth it hath commanded, and his spirit it hath gathered them.
None shall want her mate. Nothing else can compare to these scriptures. No other, religious doctrine, the Holy Quran, that,
Haile Selassie.
especially that fucking, that porta potty.
Yeah.
Haile Selassie, the scientific method, the theory of evolution, the U.S. Constitution.
Yakub.
Hey, let's not get into Yakub. None of that can compare to the 144% accuracy of the scriptures. If you want to know what happened in the past, the scriptures have it. If you want to know what times we're going into at the present, the scriptures have it. If you want to know what's about to happen, hey, the scriptures have it. None shall want her mate, for my mouth that hath commanded, and his spirit hath gathered them. Point blank, period. Hey, everything that's been prophesied in the scriptures will take place, and we are in the times when they are no longer tarrying, and we are at the door of all hell breaking loose. But what? Salvation as well, and everything we've been striving for and having hope in, the new heavens and the new earth, the kingdom of heaven being established.
Yeah, there's no salvation without destruction, and we're in the time of both.
Any other points? Hey, so with that, we hope you sincere Akim and Akwath were edified by this lesson. And again, as always, we're going to give all praises, glory, and infinite honors to Yahawah, bahasham, YAHAWASHI, bahasham, Rakah, Qudash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule and teach well. And peace and salutations to you sincere Akim and Akwath out there. Hey, just keep doing what you're doing. Hey, to, strive to endure. And, all Abarat Azai, we all be of that elect number. Hey, Shalawam.
Shalawam.